Crash and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to talk about what I guess I would consider to be the second of his more straightforward, or Vangelis' more experimental releases. I think technically there's only two, but a lot of people could consider Soil Festivities fairly experimental as well. I would argue that there's two of them, the first one being Boberg from '78 and Invisible Connections, this record here. I'm not sure if I said the title already. Jesus, I've certainly taken my time tonight on doing that. And this is from, I believe, 1985, if memory serves. And whereas I found that when I discussed Boberg in a video that I had made prior, I said that it reminded me a lot of the Venetian Snares, more atmospheric work that Aaron Funk, the Venetian Snares, would go on to do, and that he had to be influenced by Boberg, by Vangelis, in some size, shape, or form, because the two sound too much like each other, and the Vangelis release predates anything Aaron Funk released by roughly 22, well, wait, yeah, roughly 20 or 22 years, give or take. And this record here, Invisible Connections from 1985, this sounds just like Square Pusher. Not Square Pusher's more uppity drill and bass, drum and bass craziness. No, I'm talking about when Square Pusher decided to get more experimental, he decided to fuck with the synthesizers a little more. This is exactly what Tom Jenkinson's stuff sounds like when he decides to go down that path. And it's really wild because I really feel that the Venetian Snares sound a lot like the tracks on Boberg, and I really feel that Square Pusher sounds a lot like the three tracks on here on Invisible Connections. It's uncanny how it's like, I mean, because Venetian Snares and Square Pusher are both geniuses in their own right, so they're not looking to rip anybody off. But, I mean, the influence is definitely there. Now, I haven't read any interviews with Square Pusher where he has specifically cited this record as an influence. And at the same time, though, I haven't read everything that's ever been printed about the man, so it's difficult for me to really argue one way or another, but I have to say that the influence is so blindingly obvious that Square Pusher had to be influenced by this record. Now again, the problem with this record, I imagine for the majority of Vangelis' fan base, is most likely what the majority of his fan base took issue with on Boberg back in '78. These are just a little too sparse. They sort of sprawl out into a lot of like reverby madness-ish. And it feels like, again, like Vangelis is just willing to take chances, which you will find with people in his position of considerable prestige. People like him would usually refrain from releasing records like this because this could be seen as a misstep. You know, everything they've been doing has been building their brilliance, and then these records could be seen as a step or two backwards. So for him to have the guts to release this, when his fan base at this point had really grown to expect and love something very different to come from him, it takes a lot of guts, and that has to be respected. And I absolutely love this record, and it's got a lot to do with the fact that I've loved Square Pusher for like 2/3 of my life too. So it's almost like all of this, it's like everything happens for a reason, I suppose. You know, if you like one, you're gonna like the other, whether or not you know either of them exist at the same time as each other. When you find one and you fall in love with that, and then X number of years roll on and go by, and you find the other, and you're able to relate the two back together, I find that that's really exciting. It's nice that somebody as big and as well respected as Vangelis had the guts to do this, basically. So I think I'm going to leave it there. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes while I discuss Vangelis' absolutely incredible and yet probably a little hard to swallow his 1985 release of Invisible Connections. If you liked this review or you didn't like this review, like always, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate that, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.